After November's RAC rally and a month of speculation that Carlos Sainz was to rejoin Subaru for 1996 or drive a privately run Toyota, by mid-December the waiting was over. At a press conference in Madrid, Sainz announced that he'd signed for Ford in a 2-year deal and posed for photographs alongside his new car. Less than 24 hours later, Carlos and Luis Moya, his navigator, were at the other end of Europe for their first official duties as Ford team members in the frozen forests of Scandinavia. This was to be the first opportunity the team had had to prepare for round 1 of the 1996 World Championship, the Swedish rally just 8 weeks away. Sainz has driven for the team before, but his last Ford was a Sierra Cosworth in 1988. This would be his first chance to drive the Escort Cosworth he'll be using this year.
Do you have balaclavas by chance? Balaclavas.
With temperatures well below freezing, even in mid-afternoon, the cold would be a problem for the crew and the mechanics. Balaclavas would be essential items. The Spanish pair were soon in the car, getting used to their office for the year ahead. A new car meant new switchgear, and even new headset sockets had to be learnt.
Where do we plug it in?
The blue one is normally the one for the pelter, when you have the headset and the radio. You hit the radio through. The yellow one is the stage one for the crash helmet.
In temperatures that can reach 20 degrees below freezing, reliability is the key to success. Last year's Swedish rally ended in retirement for the entire Subaru team with engine failure. Sainz and his teammates Colin McRae and Mats Jonsson didn't even reach the final afternoon, so Carlos will be hoping that he'll have better luck with the Ford team in '96. Test days like this play an important part in selecting suspension, transmission and tyre combinations, so it was time to get on with the day's work. Considering it was Sainz's first real chance to drive the car, the first few runs of the day were pretty impressive. The Swedish rally itself is run in conditions far worse than these, although the weather in mid-December was ideal for this test session. After those first few runs, Sainz pronounced himself pleased at both his and the car's performance.
We just made our first run in the car. Of course, everything is new for me, and I have to learn a little bit about the car, to learn a little bit about everything, to adjust the car a bit for my driving style, because I think that's very important to build up all the confidence.
For the mechanics, the intense cold creates unique problems. When you see what happens to this block of ice when it hits a brake pad, imagine dropping a hot wheel nut into deep snow. At times like that, you just hope there's a spare in the service van. For the test team engineers, the session's vital. It's the first chance they've had to set up the Escort to suit Carlos.
Make sure the car is stable, where the conditions change, where the ice gets rutted and the snow depths change, that the car is stable over lots of different and changing conditions, so that the driver can push hard and have total confidence in the car all the time. He mustn't be nervous of the car or wondering what it's going to do next. You know, he commands the car, and the car mustn't be doing anything that's not expected.
At the start of the test, the car had a fairly neutral setup, although as the day wore on, electronic active front and centre differentials and several different suspension settings, both front and rear, were tried out.
He has a certain style of left foot braking that's maybe different to our previous drivers, so some of the centre differential settings have to be changed. We just have to understand his style, just so it's the right balance for him and his ability and how he throws the car around compared to another driver.
Tyre choice here, just as on every other World Championship rally, is crucial. Engineers from Michelin had travelled to Sweden to offer advice on choosing tyres. Sainz, remember, has been driving on the Pirellis used by the Subaru team for the last couple of years. Despite the fact that it's the driver who makes most of the decisions, World Rallying is very much a partnership. Surprisingly, perhaps, Luis Moya also enjoys testing.
Well, in fact, I like it. I like to do it.
because then I know what we're doing during the rally, and I know we have to change something, which direction are we going. Because if I'm not coming to the test, then I will know less about the car, especially when it's a new car. And during the test, what I'm doing, I'm reading the notes, and then I'm writing the comments of Carlos, and also Carlos asks me questions, how I feel the car, but I'm not as good as him, you know. I can give my opinions, but always we talk together, we take the decisions always together.
Nighttime in Sweden comes at around 4 in the afternoon, although it doesn't mean the end of the test. By the time you see this in the UK, Sainz and Moyer will have reached the end of day 1 of the Swedish rally, and will know whether all the testing was worth it. Back in December though, Carlos appeared pretty satisfied with the day's work.
Yes, of course, the first day, you know, it's always everything new. You need to learn everything, especially here in the snow. Has been a good first day.